Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Danielle. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at womensportsweeklypod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on the Les, our listeners' experience zone.
How are you doing, Danielle? We had quite the past week.
Yeah, wasn't an ideal weekend, but luckily right now I am feeling so much better.
Can you tell our listeners what you've been going through?
I had some pain starting early last week in my abdominal, my upper abdominal, and I was like, that's weird. I don't think I did anything at the gym. I just randomly woke up with it. Throughout the week, it progressively got worse, and then by Friday, I couldn't stand up straight without being in severe pain or breathe in. Started under my left rib cage and then spread to the middle between my two ribs, like at the top of my abdominal. So I was freaking out just because the pain was so intense, and I took Gas X because I was like, I don't want to go to a doctor. Like, it could just be gas. Like, I know that could be painful, but it got really bad. So I went to urgent care on Friday, spent a few hours there, did a bunch of tests. Had some levels that weren't ideal, so I had to get a CAT scan to rule out a pulmonary embolism, which was just a tad scary because what I'm learning, D-dimer levels were high, and that sometimes means blood clots, but luckily that didn't seem to be the case. Went home, they told me to get more GI medicine. They put Pepcid in my IV, more GI things, and nothing was helping. And then Saturday, I guess Friday night sleeping, I woke up to go to the bathroom twice, and walking to the bathroom, I was in so much pain. And then would lay back down, it would take an hour for the pain to feel a little better, because when I lay down, it would feel better, but it would take a lot of time. So then I really couldn't get out of bed Saturday morning, and I said to you, I think I need to go to the ER because something is wrong. This is not normal. So yeah, we spent Saturday, 6 hours in the ER, and they tried a million things, got more blood work, tried pain meds, nothing was working.
Did an ultrasound
to check out all the organs, and nothing was showing. My white blood cell count was a little high, and I told them, I have rheumatoid arthritis. I've had it for years now. I'm on a medication weekly, and it's under control. I haven't had a flare up in years. But I was like, because everything else is ruled out, I really think this is linked to my RA.
Yeah.
And doctors don't like to think that. I don't know why. So finally, before I was leaving, they were like, we can try to give you a steroid. And they were like, it may make things worse if you have an ulcer in your stomach that we haven't been able to tell. Or if you start to feel better within 6 hours, it's definitely inflammatory and could be linked to your RA. And they were like, we don't necessarily think that's what it is, but we want to give you autonomy in your care, essentially.
That's what it was.
Saturday night, I could sit up straight, and I was like, wow, I can breathe normal without sharp shooting pains. And then I woke up Sunday morning and still dull pain, but kind of how it started Tuesday, so very manageable. I could walk around straight, do things, I feel it, but I could breathe. I could walk, just things you want to do as a normal human. So still going to take it easy the next few days. They gave me a steroid to take at home, and just hoping it clears up fully. But it's scary when you're in the hospital and you can't find what the issue is. Yeah. And I always have this fear that people think I'm lying, especially when you can't see. Like rheumatoid arthritis, it took me over a year to even get the diagnosis for it, way back in it was early in our relationship. I think 2017 is when I finally got diagnosed, after passing out and falling down the stairs from pain.
And after doctors saying, oh no, it's just a muscle strain. And I'm like, Danielle, it's not a muscle strain. It just speaks to the overall healthcare system. You really, really have to advocate for yourself. Yeah. That stinks, because I always think about people who can't speak English. How do they advocate for themselves when they're at the doctor or in the ER, or if you don't have some baseline medical knowledge, which most people don't have, it's really, really difficult to do. I will say, as much as AI is probably ruining our planet, ChatGPT can be helpful in that way, to be like, how do I advocate for myself? How do I make sure that I'm getting what I need? Because the doctors aren't always telling you all the things. And so you can use that to be like, what could it be? And then take it to your doctor, which they probably hate, but you were right.
But I do want to give my doctors, 2 doctors I saw both Friday and Saturday were 2 different doctors. I do want to give them kudos. 2 women doctors. Everything that I was worried about, they really did take into consideration. Correct. They were both very kind. They took their time with me. They asked questions. They wanted to give me some say in what the care was. And their job is to rule out all the scary things, which they were able to do. They're not specialists in a certain field. So I did appreciate both doctors. And I did think the care was good. And the doctor did listen and give me a steroid, even though maybe she didn't think that was going to help. She was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt to try. And I appreciate that as a patient. And it's not like I was like, give me Oxy. I was like a steroid's not doing anything for me. And I just appreciate that they were able to kind of help with that. And thank you, because I know our plans Friday and Saturday, we had a big weekend planned and both days got ruined because I was in such bad shape. So thank you for being there at the hospital with me and just helping me figure out what was going on.
I'm just glad you're okay, honestly. And I mean that.
Yeah. It's good to feel normal again because I was
you weren't yourself, and you're not one to complain, and you're not in pain often, and that's why I knew something was seriously wrong. And I know sometimes you worry that you're like being too much, but that's literally part of the vows that I took, so I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, but rheumatoid arthritis is a weird thing. Autoimmune disease. Yeah. It's inflammatory. It's things you can't see. They don't show up on scans. So it's just like your word against what is showing on things. And it feels like an invisible thing. And over time, it can break down your body and will show up on scans. But if it's under control, you won't really see the inflammation. I think the white blood cell count was indicative of the inflammation because that's what happens. The autoimmune just means your body's attacking itself. So like it's weird, but I'm just happy that I can figure out what's going on and find something that was helping with that.
For sure. I think a lot of people have autoimmune diseases, unfortunately, and some people know about them and some people don't. For you, especially finding out that you had RA, you had to write down every time that you were having a flare up. You didn't know it was a flare up at that time, but it was like weird parts of your body, and then advocate for yourself at the doctor. I guess my message is like, if you don't feel okay, there's a reason for it, and track it and advocate for yourself, because you can get the medicine that you need and live exactly how you want to, and then just have a crazy flare up.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Every what? How long has it been?
It's been years. Yeah. My medicine really helps. My RA started coming around the same time I got into running more seriously. And when I was training for my first marathon, I would wake up and I couldn't walk. Like I literally would get out of bed and would have to go back and lay down because I was so stiff, and just wait a few hours and then run later when my joints like loosened up. And I just thought that was because I was training for a marathon. Yeah. And no, that was not normal. That was not normal. Or my elbow would randomly start hurting for a few days, like severely, or my shoulder. Like I've passed out from pain multiple times and just had no idea what was happening to me. If that's happening to you, you might have RA or some other autoimmune. I don't know. Maybe check it out and write things down every time you have pain and keep track. And it's not necessarily fun.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Same.
I'm glad you're upright. It was touch and go there for a second.
Yes.
In all this time, we have been reading so much. I did a lot of reading at the ER.
We also had the Olympics on at the ER, which was nice that they have the TV on. Lots, 6 hours worth of the Olympics. But yes, lots of reading as well.
But I just need to shout out my friend Casey, who works for a publishing company that happens to publish all of the Heated Rivalry books, all of the Game Changer books. So we got all of the Heated Rivalry books delivered to us, and we are raring. What is it called?
Ripping through them. Yes. So thank you, Casey. That was such a nice gift to receive over the weekend.
Yes, for sure. You can catch us reading all the Heated Rivalry books because we can't be stopped. I'll never be done.
Oh, and not to mention, because we've been reading them, I was like, Carolyn, I need to watch the show again. So we are on our fifth? Or is this our fourth?
It's either our fourth or fifth. I think fourth rewatch.
And we binged the first 5 episodes in one day.
We're not okay. With everything that's happening in our country right now, I just feel like this is the way that I'm handling it, honestly, because everything is a shit show. I need to find ways to take care of myself, and everyone who's listening needs to find ways to take care of themselves. And that's what brings me joy right now. So that's what I'm doing. That and the Olympics bring me joy, except when they show JD Vance's face. No joy when that happens. But
well, he got booed, so that was some joy.
He did. But you have to take care of yourself during this time. It's just a crazy, crazy time. And Heated Rivalry is how we do that.
Yeah, fiction is great to escape reality. So definitely fun.
It gives you the time that you need to then go do the action, right? Like you need time to do what you need to do to take care of yourself so that you can be active and not disassociate, and also not become so numb to everything that you can't do anything.
Yeah, so for sure.
All right, let's get into our highlight reel. That was a lot of heavy stuff to start us off.
Let's do it. Well, our first highlight is kind of a low light because the CBA standoff continues. We still do not have a CBA for the WNBA.
Craziness.
So negotiations are stalled. The WNBA has failed to present a new proposal last Monday during their meeting.
So technically 2 Mondays ago now.
Yes.
So they showed up to a meeting where they were supposed to have a proposal because the WNBPA, the Players Association, had given a counter. And so the WNBA was supposed to show up with something, and they showed up with nothing.
Players fly into these meetings. Like, I don't know if you all saw on Instagram, I got a kick out of it, Kelsey Plum pushing Nafisa Collier through the airport in her wheelchair, and they were sprinting through to make the flight to get to this meeting. It reminded me of when you had to push me through the airport in a wheelchair. That is no joke. That is a lot of work, and she was booking it. But anyways, my point is players take time out of their day to go. 40 WNBA players actually called in to the negotiation. So people are showing up. They're showing their unity. But just to give a little more background, the current CBA expired in late October. So it's been months that we've been waiting for an update for this new CBA. It's been 2 extra deadlines. So 2 deadline extensions, and we still don't have anything. WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike is the one who says the league admitted that they came into this without a proposal. So like, why waste their time? Why didn't they tell them before they showed up that they didn't have it ready?
And really disrespectful. It's just like, what are you doing? The fans are not going to be on your side.
Yeah, no,
so,
I mean, they already aren't.
Exactly. You're floundering is what you're doing, because Unrivaled is showing that they can continue going, and you're going to show up with nothing.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
Yep. There's still no timeline on when they're going to have a proposal set. With this, there's a few key pressure points. Like, the players, their threat to not play if they don't have a new CBA and during the 2026 season is still very much a thing. They want to play. They've made it very clear. We want to play, but we also are prepared not to play. Yeah. And I don't think those are false, because they have things like Unrivaled. They could just continue to play Unrivaled if they want. That is a players-led league, and I'm sure Nafisa and Breanna Stewart have already had many conversations of what they might need to do.
Do they potentially need to expand Unrivaled to get more of those W players in? I'm sure those talks are happening. And it's not like people aren't watching, especially if there's not a WNBA season. They'll definitely tune in to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's a lot of, we already said, there's public pressure and fans are not happy. One of the big moments was at the All-Star game when the players wore the Pay Us What You Owe Us shirts. Seeing that publicly, it also stirred the pot a lot, and good for the players because they need to advocate for themselves against the league.
Yeah. I think the WNBA has always been a league of activism and always pushing for CBAs. Their last CBA was groundbreaking. It's set everything in motion for other women's sports leagues to follow suit. So they are the ones who are going to be pushing the envelope here, and they deserve it. They deserve everything and more that they're going to get in this CBA. And we know it's about negotiating, but you showing up with nothing is not a negotiation, right? This is all about compromise. So show up with something that they can go back and forth on, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few priorities that the players are looking at. One being salary. The league's latest proposal included a 1.3 million max salary. And I would say at this point that the biggest sticking point right now is revenue sharing. The league is not willing to up the revenue sharing as much as the players would like it. So that's their top priority right now, and that's what they're going to continue to fight for. It's in WNBA leadership's hands at this point, and they need to make a move. I really hope the players get what they want and deserve.
Yeah, Nafisa Collier said, if you can't have this pencil out in a way that makes sense, in a way that's profitable, you need to look at your leadership. If you can't make this pencil to make money, that's on you. That's not on us. Yeah. You all have a math problem then that needs to be figured out.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
And I just want to remind folks, when we spoke to Ryan Rucco, he said, if we get into the springtime, that's when you want to worry. So this February time we still have a little bit of time, but March, April, when the expansion drafts have already come and gone. Those happened December last year. But when we get to a potential WNBA draft and that doesn't happen, we're going to have a shortened season if we have a season at all.
It's unfortunate. And I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yes.
All right.
Let's talk about the new league.
Let's talk about Unrivaled. So the Hive had a big comeback win over the Breeze this past Friday night, and it's the largest comeback in Unrivaled history. They were down 15 points and ended up coming back and beating Breeze. They had a huge third quarter, 27 points in the third quarter, which was the basketball club's highest scoring quarter ever this season, because this is the Hive's first season. This win was also big for them because they were on a 2-game losing streak up to this point, so that also snapped that. Some key players for the Hive. You have Kelsey Mitchell, who obviously she's just a beast and such a great scorer. She had 22 points, and this is her third 20-point game this season. 11 of those points were in the first quarter, which tied her career high.
For points in a quarter.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then you have Mo Billings. She's so fun to watch, I must say. She had 15 points and a career high 17 rebounds. And this is her fourth straight double-double, which ties a league record.
She also did a great job commentating, which I love that Unrivaled does this. They allow the players to explore things that they're interested in, to build upon their skill set, so that when they step into their second career after the WNBA is over for them at any point, they have a backup plan, right? Or a plan number 2, a second career. And she did a great job there. It's taken the Hive a little while to get their feet under them, but now you start to see it coming together a little bit. They're still low in the standings, but as a new team with a lot of new players playing 3-on-3, they're starting to step into it a little bit more.
For sure. And then you have former Notre Dame alum and rookie Sonia Citron, who added 17 points, and it was her first career game winner. So good for her.
She's so sweet.
Go Irish. And then a few notes about the Breeze. Paige Beckers was on fire this game. She was so mad when the Hive won. She took the ball and slammed it against, how the basket, it's not attached to the wall, like it has the padding. Yeah. Slammed it against the padding. She's just so competitive. I mean, they all are. But 28 points. This was her 7th straight 20-plus point game. She's just a leader, like a natural leader out there.
And so good in the 3-on-3 format. And the way that she just is like, I'm going to get to my spot where I know I have a high percentage of it going in. It's very methodical. And it's just like, yep, Paige is going to get to her spot. Paige is going to do what she needs to do to create those high percentage opportunities for her to score, for someone else to score.
Yes. And then Rickea Jackson added 15 points and 11 rebounds. Since then, Rickea Jackson unfortunately has gone through, I would call this trauma, but you can explain more what happened to her off the court.
Yeah, is this going to be our most depressing episode yet? Because we're going to get into the Olympics and it's going to be more sadness. Okay, this past Saturday, Atlanta Falcons rookie James Pierce Jr. was arrested over a domestic dispute with Rickea Jackson. What we do know is that he was arrested on charges of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking, and fleeing and eluding police. He allegedly stalked Rickea Jackson from his car and tried to get into her car at an intersection. She sped away, but he continued to go after her. There are reports that he allegedly crashed his Lamborghini into Rickea Jackson's car multiple times, trying to stop her from going where she wanted to go, which was assumed the police station. And honestly, the initial coverage of this has been really horrible. Some of the reports that I see don't even mention Rickea Jackson by name, and I don't think it's out of respect for her. A lot of the reports that I'm seeing are only talking about James Pierce Jr. and how great of a rookie season he had and how unfortunate this is for the Falcons. It's so disgusting to me that this is how we speak about assault and abuse. Honestly, I'm just want to send a lot of love to Rickea Jackson, which was undoubtedly a horrible night. That's just at baseline for her. It was probably more than that, but we don't want to make assumptions about how people feel. But these relationships like this can be really, really difficult to escape. And I really hope she gets the support she needs to make it through this, because she is so successful and is an amazing person. Everybody on her team loves her. And I think that's what we have to keep at the center of this, is there is a person here who is at the other end of abuse and got assaulted. And we're not talking enough about that in her career and how this can impact her career and her as a person. And we're spending all of our time talking about an abuser. And this is why I don't watch men's sports, because every time I turn on the TV and try to watch a men's sport, I'm like, okay, how many allegations are out there? How many people have been suspended over domestic abuse? What has this coach done? Oh, I just found out the Broncos coach, and this is old news, but was paying players to intentionally hurt other players. I can't watch a men's sport because way too many of the players have these horrible things against them. The coaches are horrible, and it's just like way too much for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we haven't talked about Sedona Prince in a while, but she was coming out of TCU and she had allegations against her with ex-girlfriends. And what happened? She doesn't get drafted into the WNBA. And I'm pretty positive she would have got drafted if it weren't for that. But men, how many football players have allegations against them and they're still on their teams and they're still in the league? So yeah, it is frustrating. I feel really bad for Rickea Jackson. Luckily, I think she's surrounded by great people in Unrivaled. I think great teammates. So I really do hope she gets the support she needs, and just hope that everyone's there for her.
For sure. And like sometimes these allegations aren't even allegations, like they're proven to be true.
Yeah.
The person's found guilty and they get this light suspension. It just makes no sense to me that we tolerate this kind of abuse so often in men's sports. It really blows my mind. It's the reason why I gravitate towards women's sports, because we do hold people accountable. And I hope we continue to do that as women's sports grows.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into another sad topic, let's get into some updates from Women's Sports Weekly.
Yes. Let's start with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain at the 99ers Sports Bar here in Denver. This Thursday, we're having a very special Run Club in honor of Valentine's Day coming up. We are going to have a Galentine's Day run/walk, and we're partnering with another Run Club, which is Les Run in Denver, and then Denver WLW Walks for our special Galentine's Day run and walk. So we're going to have a big, fun group, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and if you have been nervous about coming to Run Club because you don't feel like running is your thing, there will be a walking group specifically for this upcoming Thursday. So please come. It could be a great opportunity to meet friends, maybe even meet someone who might be of interest to you. We could sell this as like a singles event.
So true. And I think I'm going to be joining the walkers considering my status right now. So definitely come join us. Every week, if you listen to our podcast and share the secret word with the bartenders after the run, you get 50% off your first draft. This week, the secret word is Galentine.
We love it. We also need to take this time to remind you to please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We create, produce, and edit the podcast ourselves. So if you want to support us, rate, subscribe, give us a positive review, and share with the people you love. I've actually seen a few more ratings come through, and we so appreciate it. So if you have not done it, please consider rating our podcast. It goes such a long way for a small podcast like us. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, you can send it via email or Instagram. We will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for free.
Yes. All right. Resuming our sadness, we're going to talk about Lindsey Vonn because there's been so much talk about her comeback. We talked about her last week in the Olympic preview episode. She, unfortunately, ahead of the Olympics, ruptured her ACL completely. She's had so many knee surgeries over the years. We weren't sure, is she going to make it to the Olympics? And then she announced that she was going to do it. As a reminder, 41 years old, so this was likely her final Olympic downhill experience because the next Olympics she'll be 45, but knowing her, who knows, she might be back. As we mentioned last week, she was retired for nearly 6 years, so this is her first Olympics back, and she had already been competing with a titanium right knee.
Yeah. And this was a full rupture to her ACL plus bone bruising and meniscus damage to her left knee. I say maybe she needs a titanium knee on the left side and maybe she'll be back in 4 years.
Yeah. It's interesting because when she announced that she was going to make it to the Olympics, she was getting a lot of pushback online, and she was responding back to people as she should and just saying she's not obsessed. She doesn't need skiing in her life. It's something she loves, and it's her choice to continue to do this and do the sport she loves. I mean, obviously, she's one of the most intense people ever. You can't be an Olympian if you're not intense. I'm sorry. And I wonder, would men get the same pushback if they decided to do this? Is it because she's a woman that people are throwing all this shade towards her?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation if this was about a man. Like a man ruptures his ACL and decides to play. We're like, cool, badass, go for it. A woman tears her ACL and we're like, she's so old. What does this mean? Is this okay? And like, me as a normal person, and this is why I'm not an Olympian, do I think it's crazy to ski on a torn ACL? 100%. We have to understand that an Olympic body is not the same as my body. And men also really need to understand this. I think men sitting on a couch really seem to believe that they can go and do these things. And then they're surprised when someone tears their ACL and then tries to go for it because they could never fathom doing it. She spoke to her doctors. She is an Olympic athlete and she decided to go out there. Would I do that? No. Do I think she could really injure herself? Yes. Do I also think that she's a grown woman who can make her own decision and has weighed the pros and cons to this and said, I'm still ready to compete? Also, yes. So the flack that she's getting is just so layered in sexism to me. So I just think it's very interesting. But she decided to move forward and go on and compete in this. And also to mention, she did 2 trial runs before the medal race and they went totally fine.
I just want to also read one of the responses that she tweeted to one of the pieces that was written about her.
An opinion piece, yeah.
Because I think it's powerful and just speaks to her as a person. But she said, and of course it's response to a man. Like, LOL, wouldn't expect anything else. But she goes, I'm sorry, Greg, but this is a very odd opinion piece. The pain and suffering is the point, ? I'm searching for meaning, ? Why am I taking risk at my age? This ageism stuff is getting really old. My life does not revolve around skiing. I am a woman that loves to ski. I don't have an identity issue. I know exactly who I am. I was retired for 6 years. I have an amazing life. I don't need to ski, but I love to ski. I came all this way for one final Olympics, and I'm going to go and do my best, ACL or no. It's as simple as that. And respectfully, if you don't know the story, it may be best not to make assumptions. Period.
Yeah. One, I love that she's going at people online. Like, we love a petty person.
But I would be like, yeah, the ageism stuff is getting old, Greg. What are you doing?
Yeah. And she's done this before. So she won bronze in the 2019 Worlds with major knee damage. She skied on a torn ACL before. She actually tore her ACL and MCL in her right knee in 2013 during training and then decided to withdraw from the 2014 Olympics. But she's trained before on a torn ACL, so she's done this before. You have to imagine that she sat down and said, what are my chances here? She had an amazing year this past year. So even her not at 100% was an opportunity to medal. And she posted videos after of her jumping around. I was amazed at what I saw. But again, this is an Olympic athlete. This is not a good skier. This is an Olympic athlete, and she decided to do it. And I think we also need to remember that to be at the Olympics, you have to have a little bit of a mindset that people would not understand.
Yeah. And she was getting support from her rivals, which I think says a lot to the Olympic mindset. You have Sofia Goggia, who's an Italian competitor. She returned from a severe injury to win the Olympic silver in 2022, and she ended up taking home bronze. So she was definitely in support of this. And then you have Mikaela Shiffrin, who praised Vonn's grit and said anything is possible. It's nice to see that people were supportive of her. And at the end of the day, it's no one else's decision. So
exactly. And this is also, God, we're getting real political, but like we love to tell women what to do with their bodies.
Yep.
And we love to think that we know best. So let's get into this women's downhill race. Snoop Dogg was there. He was in his Lindsey Vonn t-shirt.
He was.
I also thought it was very interesting. So they had a drone following the skiers, and the drone was so loud it made this really weird noise. I was like, I wonder if they had that in training, because it was distracting for me watching. It sounded like a chipmunk noise, and it was right above them, following them down. It gives us a great view of the skiers, but it was interesting to watch that. Also, where they were skiing was like so beautiful in Cortina.
Go.
Oh
Can
my
we go
gosh.
next vacation, a ski trip in Italy?
Yeah. And these skiers were very familiar with this course. A lot of skiers have skied here a bunch. So Lindsey Vonn gets up to go, and she is wearing number 13, which I thought was going to be really good luck for her. Everyone was pumping her up. Her team getting her to go, like when she was at the gates, was screaming for her, and she was doing that huff and puff. It was really cool to see. She crashed early in this race. It was like 13-14 seconds into the race.
Bad.
And
the way she like fell, and the way her legs crumpled up. Oof.
She clipped the gate and then twisted and fell off. The race is about 90 seconds, so 14 seconds in is early.
And just as a quick reminder, these women are getting up to speeds close to or over 80 miles per hour. You are going so fast.
She went off course. You could hear her screaming. We don't know if it was screaming out of pain or frustration. I'm sure it was a little bit of both. What we know right now is that she's in stable condition. She did end up getting helicoptered off. And people are going to say, well, she shouldn't have been out there. And I just don't agree. It sucks to see someone crash. It sucks that that happened.
But it could happen to anyone. It could have happened to her perfectly healthy. It's part of the sport.
It just was unfortunate. It's very easy to make comments about what people should or shouldn't do after you've seen the result, right? It just stinks that that's the way this ended. I think if anyone could make a comeback, she could get that titanium knee and make a comeback. And if she decides this is it, then congratulations on a great comeback, being at the top of your game after taking off for 6 years. And then if this is the way it goes out, it's unfortunate, but we know so many people, so many athletes who their final outing was not their best. I think of Megan Rapinoe. And it's just like, sometimes the sport is just so cruel, and that's kind of why you love it too.
Yep. So we're thinking of you, Lindsey, and we hope you get a speedy recovery.
As speedy as you go down that downhill. But let's talk about the first Olympic gold that went to the U.S., which happened in this women's downhill. So Breezy Johnson secured Team USA's first medal at the Milano Cortina Games. She is a 2025 world champion in the downhill. She actually went before Lindsey Vonn's crash. I think she was might have been the sixth player to go. What's interesting is that in 2022, she crashed on a training run on this course and tore cartilage in her right knee and had to miss the Olympics in Beijing. So she was coming back for redemption on this course. She started the race and it looked a little bit shaky, but then she kind of just turned it on and was able to slide into first place and kept it there. She wears a headband and she was just like sitting there the whole time in first place, seeing if anyone was going to beat her in this headband that she hand knit herself. And she said that this is something she does to pass the time before races. So we love a knitting queen and we love people who take care of themselves.
Yes.
So it took us a couple days, but the U.S. does get their first gold medal. Congratulations, Breezy Johnson. We love to see it.
It's happy to end on a happy note.
Happy note. And I think we'll have more happiness in what we're looking forward to.
Yes. What do you got for us?
I'm staying in the Olympics. So the quarterfinals for hockey begin on Friday the 13th, beginning at 10:40 a.m. I just want to shout out Layla Edwards from the USA. She became the first Black woman to ever hit the ice for the U.S. Olympic women's hockey team. Really amazing. She is 22 years old and is currently a senior at the University of Wisconsin and already a two-time NCAA national champion. She is the future of USA hockey. She already got some points for herself representing the USA. So just very cool. I have another one that I can't stop. I just love the Olympics. I'm also looking forward to the bobsled, the monobob. So the one one bob. Those finals are on Monday, February 16th at 3:06 p.m. Eastern time.
Very precise.
Very precise. I want to shout out USA Elena Myers-Taylor, who's a 5-time Olympic medalist, 4-time world champion, and the most decorated Black Winter Olympian of all time. She's also a mother of 2. Very casual. She competes in both the monobob and the 2 women bobsled events. She doesn't have a gold yet. She's looking for her first Olympic gold after earning 3 silver and 2 bronze medals across 4 previous Olympics. She has finished on the podium in every race of her Olympic career. I hope she gets a gold this Olympics.
That's awesome. Excited for her.
What are you looking forward to, Danielle?
I am looking forward to the Unrivaled one-on-one tournament. I absolutely loved watching this last year. It starts today, Wednesday, February 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern on TNT and True TV. It will continue on Friday and conclude on Saturday, so make sure you watch. It is split up differently this year. So last year, there would be like guards against bigs early on, and the bigs one-on-one.
The bigs dominate. It's actually surprising to me that the bigs dominated so much last year.
Yeah, but I guess with blocking and just like rebounding, they can just get to the ball quicker. So they did split it up differently this year. They split it up into 4 8-player pods based on position and skill.
Got it.
So at the end of it, obviously, one from each of those pods will come together, and then likely there will be a big versus a guard to end it. But at least they're giving them a better chance to get to a more final position versus just like mixing up the players. I don't know necessarily how they did it last year, but I like this approach, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, they're learning as they go, and we'll see how this one works.
Paige Beckers and Brianna Stewart were the top overall seeds, which I thought was interesting. Whoever wins will take home $200,000. It's a nice little...
That's a nice paycheck.
Yeah. Runner-up will earn $50,000.
I'll take that too.
Yes. And then each semifinalist will receive $25,000.
I take that too.
I mean, I'll take any of it.
I'll take $1.
Yeah. All the games will be 10 minutes in length, or when the player reaches the winning score, which is 11 points. 11 points for all rounds except the final round, which will feature the best of 3 format, which I'm happy they do it that way. When they do best out of 3, it's up to 7 for the winning score, and the clock will not stop for the duration of the games with a 7-second shot clock for each possession.
That's a lot of information, but I think we got it.
Yes.
Who do you have in this?
I don't know. I mean, Aaliyah Edwards won it last year. She dominated. I guess I got to think a big.
I'm thinking like a Rickea Jackson, like before all of this shit happened. I don't even know if she's going to be playing in it now, but she would be a good one for me to pick.
Yeah, I'm having trouble. I don't know. I think Paige will be really competitive in it. Oh, I guess I'm going to go with Paige because I really can't. I don't know who I'm going to pick. I think last year I said Rickea, but she did not win it last year. I don't think Aaliyah is going to win it again. I just think that would be really hard to do. Maybe Aaliyah Boston will make it pretty far. It'll be interesting. So
yeah, I don't think a guard is going to win just after seeing last year how it all went down. But I do think Aaliyah Boston takes on Alyssa Thomas first. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm going to cop out. I really don't know.
And Dearica versus Shakira Austin in the first. That's also rough. But those are going to be some great matchups. So we'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it. But that is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Hopefully we'll have a happier episode next week.
Yes.